Just a little bit chilly in the barn though, but not bad. I was just outside, fed the fish. They're looking good. It's a little muddy out there, so I'm going to be working on my PVC water bamboo project. I'm going to probably start on that tomorrow afternoon, it looks like. Keep me busy during the last stage of my 3-day fast. So necessary to stay busy. Got to say, I don't feel particularly hungry, but I don't feel quite as energetic this evening, and I suppose that's fairly typical. Usually, it's the first 2 to 3 days. Don't necessarily feel that hungry, but when I hit day 4, hey, Mr. LT, how are you? But typically on day 4, I will start feeling hungry. Day 5, the fatigue really sets in. But I'm just going 3 days this time, and I'm going to enjoy my weekend. Got my fishing plans kind of coming together for Saturday. We're expecting a lot of rain on Friday. So, hey, Maureen. Going to be working indoor. I'll be taking a bunch of measurements tomorrow and picking up some PVC supplies and looking through my supplies. I've got a lot of PVC stuff I've used in the past, and I always recycle all that. And so I shouldn't have to buy a lot of connectors and things like that. The only thing I have to be sure of is I've got some fresh PVC glue, and I think I do. So shouldn't be a big deal. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a very interesting project, and so we'll see how that goes. So here it is, coming to the end of day number 2. Haven't eaten since Sunday. Checked my weight today. I was 199, which means I'm getting plenty of fluids. And so that's good. And I expect that tomorrow won't be terribly difficult as long as I stay busy. So I only have a half-day clinic tomorrow. And then I get to come home and change into some, some working clothes, some outdoor stuff, and get into the barn itself and do my start working on my PVC project. And so I've got some ideas. It's all coming together in my mind how I want to do this. And really interesting. I think that come springtime, I can divert some of the flow and use it maybe for some vegetables or something else, some other maybe decorative plants or things like that could be fun. So, hey, Debs, good evening. Nice to see you. So hope you guys are having a great day. And my evening is going to be, let's see, it's just 6 o'clock now. Got a couple hours to get through. I got a couple hours worth of paperwork. Nah, probably not that much. Maybe an hour's worth of stuff to do. And then take it easy. I'm going to try to get the DW to watch a movie with me. I watched this really interesting movie the other night. It was called Searching. And she didn't want to watch it, but I'm going to try to convince her to watch it with me again because it was really a well-made movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Kept me on the edge of my seat, a lot of suspense. And it's 7 there. Okay. Yeah, 6:06 in the Houston area. So your East Coast time, I presume. Anyway, so how are you guys all doing? Any questions, any issues? How's the whole food plant-based diet going? How are you eating? I saw Sue had a video where she made something out of flatbread or something. That's always fun. So as we progress as a group, as the vegan club, I think that we'll continue to work on easy ways to eat healthy. That's kind of going to be my end of it, I think, is more of, how quick and easy it can be to eat healthy. And I'm not, I don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So for me, it's a matter of getting in, getting the nutrition and getting out of there because it's a zone with lots of bread. So I got to avoid, that's my starch weakness is bread, and sourdough is one of my favorite. So anyway, how are you guys doing? I got a couple of messages that just came in. And the DW and Abby, the darling daughter, are off. The darling daughter's birthday check, she decided to cash it, and even though it was from this summer, and she's off to Dollar Tree to get something, and I don't know what. She did some reorganizing on her room. We came home, and she was home today alone, but she did a little reorganizing in her room, and we came home, and she had a chair that she had taken out, and it was at the end of the driveway. So apparently she's done with it. Hey, Linda, glad you made it live for the first part, right? So nice to see you. You're sleepy today, Debs? Well, are you getting enough to eat? It's important to make sure you're getting enough calories. Just because you're staying away from animal products doesn't mean that you don't get to eat. Okay. So, your body should adjust. I think that you're on the right track. So hopefully, you'll continue to do well. But I got to tell you, I'm a little bit tired today from my fast, but I'm not unable to do things. I'm just going to stay focused and keep doing things, right? So no food for me. No interesting tales of meals and things like that to worry about. Fasting is simple, but not easy. It's simple in that you don't have to do any preparation except mentally, and so that's not a big deal. I'm happy to do it, and it's going to allow me to have a little bit more leeway over the Thanksgiving weekend, and so just preparing myself to be able to enjoy a little extra snack here and there over the weekend, and especially if I have a project I'm working on, or if I do get a chance to get out on the boat on Saturday, because the weather is just supposed to be beautiful, and get out there. And I'm working with got some guys at the clinic, and maybe they're going to come with me, and so we're all talking about these possible plans. So I'm keeping my fluids up and keeping my spirits up. And we had a stressful, busy day. I just had just an awful ending to the day. Unfortunately, I had to tell a 25-year-old person that they were HIV positive, and that's a real stressful thing for everybody. Just awful. Very nice young lady, and we had a long talk about the medicines that we have now for HIV are so much better than they were before, and of course, she was devastated, but we had to talk about. She really felt like this was the end of the world, and it's not. And I encouraged her to. Thanks, Debs. I encouraged her to understand that this is not. This is not the end. That she still has a long, long life ahead of her, and that we're all hopeful for a cure someday. But for now, we can manage it very well with medications, and most people now live extremely full and fruitful lives, even though they've got the diagnosis, have the virus. It's not the end of the world, and I had to. Well, it's a difficult thing sometimes. As a physician, when you have to deliver bad news, and here in the last month, I've had to deliver news to a family, and that gentleman in the family had pancreatic cancer, and that's always bad news. And then today I had to tell a 25-year-old young lady that she had HIV, and counseled her on being sure she gets in touch with everybody that she's had contact with over the last who knows how long. We don't know how long she's had it. She didn't either. So making sure that she gets in touch with everybody that she's had sexual contact with, and make sure that they understand that they need to go get tested. She's got no clue whatsoever that who she could have gotten this from. She does not have any IV drug use history whatsoever, and so certainly she's gotten it through sexual contact, and so encouraging her to make sure she gets back in touch with, making a list and making sure that she gets in touch with everybody and let them know that they need to go get tested. And hi, Christine. And there were a lot of tears shed, and I, and I had to let her know that she doesn't have to let this define who she is as a human being. Yes, some things are going to change, but that doesn't mean that she can't still be a productive person and still have a great life ahead. And, so sometimes life gives us bad news, and sometimes we have to change the way we do things and change the way we behave. And surely we've all, but for the grace of God, don't have these diagnoses and don't have these issues. And we've all made mistakes in life, and we were all careless at one point in our life or another. And so, I had to reassure her that nobody can point any fingers at her because we've all made mistakes. And unfortunately, hers is she, her mistake at some point, or her carelessness at some point is going to cost her, and she's going to have to be on medication, and she's going to have to change some of her behavior a lot. But I put my arms around her and hugged her and told her not to let this define who she is as a person, because it shouldn't. It doesn't have to. And she fortunately she had a friend with her today, and so it was a kind of a tough day. It was a tough day, and that's part of what being a doctor is sometimes we have to be the ones to to deliver that kind of news. And it's a difficult, it's really an interesting, difficult but necessary thing that has to be done, and it falls into our laps to do that. And we get to we share these moments. Sometimes we share joyful moments, sometimes we share terrifying moments, but it's a privilege, whatever that news is, to be able to share that time with the patient and to reassure them, if it's possible, to love them, to let them know that we're going to be there, no matter what the situation is, to be sure, to encourage them to move forward with treatment if it's possible. And in this young lady's case, she's got, the outlook is still very, very good for her, because the medications are wonderful now. And somebody said it's not like it was. Yeah, Linda, it's not like it was years ago. People live very fulfilling lives with HIV, and I hope that this young lady will see that too. And so I let her know that we'd be there for her no matter what. And we treat lots and lots of patients who have HIV, but we don't do the HIV meds. We have infectious disease consultants that we use for that, because it is an ever-changing field, and it's we're there for everything else. We're there for if depression is a problem, or if other illnesses are a problem. We're there for that, and we're there for them. And I think I talked to you guys before about the role of physician. We rarely cure people. We don't, and we don't have that ability. And so the main thing that we have to do is to be available to our patients, and that is our role, is to be there for them and to let them know that we're there to listen to them, to serve them in that capacity as a physician. And so I let her know that we'd be there for her no matter what. And then, of course, I gave her time to collect herself and then to leave. But so we got her set up with infectious disease specialists to start treatment, and she was worried about funding and all of that. And the state of Texas has programs for individuals with HIV to make sure they get their medication, so that's not an issue. Um, it was a tough one. It was a tough one for me, seeing somebody so young, so vibrant, just devastated by this news today. So it's a tough day. So thanks for letting me share. It helps me sometimes to talk about it too. Yeah, Debs, that's right. We are honored when we're able to share in those moments with people, whether they're good moments or bad moments. But it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of somebody's life, even if even if it's not the good stuff. There's love and there's caring, and we care about each other as human beings, and we should love one another. I think that I think I did the right stuff today. I feel like as a physician I did a good job with that, so I try to be sensitive. I try to care, and I do care, and I care about this person. I do, and it was hard. It really was hard. So I'm sorry. It was a tough day from that standpoint. It was. Hi, Mary Jane. Welcome. I got your email, Mary Jane. I haven't gone through it, but I promise I will. Thank you, Linda. And I'll be there when she needs me in the future too. And she will, and she'll need me. Thanks, Christine. I appreciate that. Sometimes being a physician is an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes you go from one room where it's bad and the next room where it's good, and they're coming in and they're sharing that everything's going great and their medicines are working well and they're feeling terrific and they've got new things happening and promotions at work or new relationships, and things are going great at home, and what we're doing is working, and those are fantastic. And then the next one is not so good, not so happy. But we have the whole range, the whole scope of humanity and emotions, and so sometimes you finish the day as a physician and you feel drained. You feel like you've opened yourself up and you've emptied yourself out, and you come home and you're just this shell of a person, and you have to say, okay, now I've got to switch hats. I've got to be a dad. I've got to be a husband. I've got to be these other things for my family. And, but it is an honor and it's a privilege to be a physician and to be there for your patients, and to be loved by them and to love them back. And I do, and I love my patients, and it keeps me going. That was one of the reasons why I had so difficult for me when I had to go through that neck surgery again this year, because I knew that if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to practice anymore at all. And I also feel so blessed now because I had such a talented, wonderful physician who cared about me, and Dr. Stachniak, Rebecca Stachniak's her name. She's a neurosurgeon in Plano, and she got me back to where I just have the 2 strikes now, strike 1 and strike 2. So I could continue doing what I love to do. And, so we get embroiled with paperwork and insurance companies and pharmacies and all of the things that go on. And sometimes it's just difficult to put that all aside, to go in and be what your patients need you to be at that time. And that is attentive and caring and loving. And so today was a tough day, but we got through it, and we did the right things, and we got this young lady taken care of, and she knows that she's cared about from my standpoint, and she knows that we're going to be there for her. And I think she's strong, and I think she's going to do well, and I think she's got a good support network, and I think that. I think she's going to be okay. I really do. She has my prayers, and I doubt she'll watch this, but if she does, then she knows how I feel. So Um, I just turned it over to God, Mary Jane. I really do. I just turned it over to Jesus, and I'm a Christian. I'm not embarrassed about that, and I just turn it over to the Lord, and I say, Lord, this is in your hands now, and all I can do is what I can do, and ultimately you're in control, not me. I sometimes laugh about those old bumper stickers that used to say, "God is my co-pilot." And I used to laugh at those and say, if God's your co-pilot, you're in the wrong seat. So kind of a tough day and fasting. Yeah, so I'm feeling a little drained right now, but I'm okay. And it's good to have some friends. It's good to have some people to talk to right now with the family off running errands. And I got my trusty dog over here. Charlie is laying out on the floor over here, and so she's my pal right now too. And so I'm making it. I'm doing okay, and the fast will continue, and I will make it through tomorrow night with determination. And so I'll keep you guys posted as to how I'm doing, and I think I'll get through it. I do. I took my glasses off because I find that I can't. The eyes have changed, and I actually can see the screen a lot better if I just take the glasses off. I can read better. So I'm already in trifocal, so no need to for up close stuff. I don't need them at all, so I just take them off sometimes. So dogs are great. They represent unconditional love, don't they? Aren't they wonderful? Charlie's been with us now for 11 years. She's a cockapoo. And if she poops on the floor, she's going to be in big trouble. I can tell you that. But I think she's been out several times today. Come here, Charlie. Come here. Come say hi. Come here. Yes, I need separate. Come here, Charlie. Come on, baby. Come here. Come say hi. You want to come say hi? Come on up and say hi. Yes, come say hi to everybody. Come say hi. Yes, it's my baby. Say hi, Charlie. Yes, a good girl. It's a good girl. She's half Cocker Spaniel, half Poodle. So she has the long ears. And when Abby was a baby at 3, she used to drag Charlie around by her ears. And Charlie never got upset about that, did you? You never got upset about that at all, did you? You were a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. I love you so much. You're a good puppy. You're such a good puppy. Yeah. I wonder if you got fed much today. She got her treat when I got home, but I don't know if she's her dog bowl was empty, but she may have already eaten everything. So she's got terrible allergies. She's allergic to grass, which is sometimes a challenge getting her to go out. And sometimes we have to carry her out into the grass because she doesn't like to go because it makes her itch. She's on prednisone. She's on a low dose of prednisone, and we had to argue with the veterinarian a number of times. In fact, we got one veterinarian that refuses to see her because she disagrees with her treatment. We know that long-term, even low-dose prednisone use can cause problems in animals and people both. I mean, we all have problems with these. Yes, a good girl. Yes, a good girl. Yeah, but for her, it's a quality of life issue. If for a while we didn't think she was going to make it, I would come home from work and she would be in my laundry basket, and she spent the whole day there. We lost her for a long time, and we got her on that Dinovite, which you guys have probably seen advertised, the Dinovite for dogs and other animals, and it made a huge difference. And we were able to get her in, and we got her tested, and we found out that she has a lot of allergies, which we don't usually see in mixed breeds, but she sure has them, and allergic to grasses and a lot of things. And so we couldn't get it. We tried the shots, we tried the allergy injections and all of those things, and they just didn't work. And so I got her some prednisone. I did it on my own. And we got her the 2.5 milligram, which I think is the smallest dose that you can get. And we put her on it, and it just made a dramatic difference. The veterinarian was very unhappy. So we switched vets, same little clinic, just a different vet. And talked to her and told her what we were doing and that she was doing great. And she did some blood work, and she said, you know what, her blood work looks fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing, you know. And so we've had that relationship with a different vet now for the last couple of years, and they monitor, they check and make sure that she's not having any, you know, any serious adverse effects from the prednisone, and she's not. In fact, she wasn't feeling as good here recently, and we took her in, and she checked her blood work and said, go ahead and bump her up to 5 milligrams. She gave us the prescription, which was great. And so we bumped her up for 5 milligrams for a little while, and I think we're back down to 2.5, and she's doing great. She really is. She's doing wonderful. We'll have her for a few more wonderful years. And we're glad for that. And yeah, Dinovite is wonderful. If you've got an animal, if you've got a pet, and I can't remember if Dinovite is for you know, other than dogs, but if you have a dog that is just not flourishing, try the Dinovite. It's expensive, but it's worth it. It's a doggy vitamin, and it's a powder. And you start off with about a quarter of a cup. They give you a scooper. You start off with a quarter of a scoop, and you put it in the dog food, and the dogs don't like it, so you kind of water it down a little bit, and they eat it. And then after a week or so, you go to the half, and then you go to the full, and their energy comes back, and they're all over the place, and they're happy again, and they're jumping up on you, and it's a wonderful product, and we really have been thankful for it. I missed a bunch of questions. Yeah, I tell you, I love my animals. I love my dog. I love my fish, and I was really devastated by when we lost our cat this year. When we lost little Gator, that was hard for me. I guess I get really attached. So, yeah. Sometimes we treat for quality of life, and sometimes we treat for cure. And in this case, we know that long-term effects of the prednisone are not going to be conducive to quite as many years for Charlie, but we're going to have a lot better years, and she's happier. They are family, Linda. You're right. They are. They are. So I'm going to treat myself to my 1 calorie beverage. This will not break my fast. I like the fizz. And probably later, I'll heat up some tea once I get this paperwork done that I'm stalling on, obviously, now. But that's okay. It can wait. It'll sit here. Christine, I agree. I like my pets better than some people do. They certainly behave better. Yeah. Just a little soda, just a little. I like these Coke Zeros. They've got a little aspartame, which I don't do well with if I get too much. But one a day is my body seems to handle it just fine. So decaf coffee with Splenda is a great way to go. I love Splenda. I do. I wish it was available in more drinks. I'm not sure what the problem is with it, why they don't put it in more drinks. Let's see here. Aspartame, yeah. So anyway, my guilty pleasure, and it's not a whole food, and it's not plant-based, and maybe someday if we continue to support the healthier choices, maybe we'll get even more. But I love the taste, and I enjoy it, and it's my guilty pleasure. So, Maureen, love you too. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Stevia, I think, is awesome. I love the taste of stevia. Splenda and stevia both work well for me. When I have tea, I generally don't sweeten it. When I do a warm tea, I generally just like the flavor of the tea. So I don't always add sugar. I just make the tea and let it cool just a little bit, and then I sip on it. And once I get going, hi, Kira. Nice to see you this evening. Hi, Robin. Yes, we were talking about Coke Life the other day, Robin, because it's got it's got some sugar. It does have the cane sugar and the stevia. I wish they'd make it with just the stevia. Honey is okay for sweetening. You have to be careful with honey, though, because it has a lot of fructose, and fructose can lead to fatty liver. Okay, so if you use honey for sweetening, don't use a lot of it. Okay, because it will really that your body takes that fructose and puts it right into fat. I mean, it just the liver is really good at turning fructose into fat. So if you want to avoid fat, then watch out for the honey. But it is natural. I consider it a natural product. I like maple syrup quite a bit too. So typically on my non-fasting days, I'm blessed to have the DW. She makes me a coffee first thing in the morning, and she'll put a little bit of almond milk and a splash or a gluck or a little drip of the maple syrup. And so we like that. And that's a very natural sweetener too. So raw honey, I don't know that it matters whether the honey has been filtered and processed. You do have to be very careful with raw honey around children, because you can actually get a form of Clostridium. You can actually children can get sick from raw honey, so you have to be very careful with that. But for adults, it's usually not a problem. Adults with a healthy immune system, raw honey is just fine. And you get if you ever get a chance to chew on a honeycomb, that's a real treat. But remember, there you go, pure Vermont maple syrup. Yeah, family. So I am a supporter of folks in Vermont that tap those maple trees and get us maple syrup. I love it. I think it's fantastic, and I enjoy it occasionally on sometimes if I want to do a like a granola breakfast thing, or sometimes just at another time of the day, I'll put they make these granola chunks. The little chunks, almost like little squares, but they end up breaking down a little bit. Put some of that in a bowl, and I'll put a little bit of almond milk and some maple syrup, just a little bit for sweetening, and enjoy that. And it's good. It's got a lot of fiber in it, so it's good for the digestive system. And so I like granolas in general. Hungry for pancakes, Debs. I still haven't gotten over those pancakes that I was eating when I started feeling sick when you guys were here. So, but I'm determined not to let that stop me from going back for some 9-grain pancakes at some point. Enzymes. Now that's interesting. Is that a like a natural sweetener of some kind? That's very interesting. Almond milk versus coconut milk. I think they're both good choices. I don't know that I would pick one over the other for any particular reason. I know coconut milk is good. Almond milk is good. So I don't have a problem with either one of them, and I don't have an opinion as to whether one might be better than the other. So you guys are making me hungry. I'm fasting, remember. I'm going to start eating the desk. No, yeah, it hit me hard, Debs. It really did. I felt so bad. I didn't get to say a proper goodbye to everyone, and just wiped me out. But anyway, we all get little viruses sometimes. Apoquel did not work for us. We tried that with Charlie. Yeah, that's when you fast for one day, like we're recommending folks try to do, like a Monday, Thursday, or just twice a week. You want to fast twice a week if you're whole food plant-based, but you're trying to lose some weight too. If you realize you're overweight and you want to lose weight, then the twice a week fasting is a good way to do it. And when you do that, you do not have to really adjust your diet the next day. If you fast for more than a day, let's say you have a 3-day fast like I'm doing, you have to be careful when you do introduce food back into your system that you don't overdo it, because you can make yourself feel sick. And yep, at least Lee didn't get it. That's right. So Thursday morning, I will most likely just have a piece of toast and maybe a piece of fruit, maybe a banana, and that'll be it. And I won't eat again until Thanksgiving, whatever we have then. And I'm going to keep it light and keep it whole food, plant based, and it'll be fine. I'll have a good celebration with family, and we have some in-laws coming over, so that'll be fun. And we'll get to talk about whatever we want to talk about and have a good time, have a good discussion. They're big into sports and football, so we'll probably find a football game for them to watch. So why am I doing a 3-day fast? That's a great question, Kira. What I did last week because we had a clinic Thanksgiving meal, and my staff, they know I fast on Thursdays, and they really asked me, they really wanted me to enjoy with them the day. And so I agreed to do my fast earlier. So I did a Monday and a Wednesday fast last week, but it left me with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday eating every day. And me as a admitted foodaholic, as a food addict, somebody that loves to eat, and I do enjoy eating, it made it difficult for me going those 4 days. So this week I decided if I was going to fast on Monday and Wednesday again, because again of Thanksgiving on Thursday, I would just go ahead and just do 3 days. And that way I would not feel as bad about eating a little extra over the 4-day period. So for me, it's just one additional day. I was already going to do Monday and Wednesday, so I figured why not just do a 3-day and maybe drop 1 pound or something. I'm still not, I'm sneaking my weight down a little bit. The DW does not want me much thinner. And so I'm gradually coming down a little bit. I'd like to see my weight under 190. She does not want me to be much thinner, but right now I was 199 today, 198 the other day. So I'm probably right around 198 since I drank more fluids today. Remember, water is 8 pounds in 1 gallon. So if you drink, even a quart more than usual, you're going to push your weight up a pound or two. So, yeah, I think fasting is me. I'm 6'1". So for me, fasting as a rule of thumb helps keep my food addiction under control. It keeps I can eat, folks. I'm telling you, I can eat. And yes, Robin, we do have a set point. And right now I'm set right. I was stuck at about 202 for a month and a half or so. And I pushed through that here recently and got under the 200. And so now I feel like I kind of got through that plateau, and it should be easy for me to move on down to about 190. You guys are sweet to tell me I don't need to lose any more. I am a lot thinner than I was, say, in January. I'm 50 pounds lighter. There's no question but that I have lost a lot of weight, and I feel a lot healthier, and I am a lot healthier. And I was discussing today with a patient the benefits. He's got kidney problems. He's actually younger than I am. He's got kidney problems. He's running into some of the same issues that I had, and I encouraged him to look into a whole food plant-based diet. So, because he's got the kidney function of a 75-year-old man, and he's not even 50. And I explained to him that I had the same problem, and I went whole food plant-based with intermittent fasting, and my kidney function almost doubled. My GFR went back up over 100. In fact, it hit 102. His was 59 today. His was 58. Mine was 59. So I told him that animal protein actually is it has an ionic charge to it, so it sticks to the kidneys. It sticks to the nephron, the basement membrane, which is the functional aspect of the kidney. And as a result, our kidneys just aren't designed to handle all of these animal products. And as a result, his kidney function is poor. He's already seeing a nephrologist. And again, he's younger than me. He's much too young for this. So he's agreed to give it a try. And so I hope he really does. Let's see. Hubby was 187. and then gained weight in the hospital, back up. For some reason, when we're in the hospital, they want to serve you meat. So I don't know what his height is, and I don't know if he feels like 212 is a healthy weight. I will tell you that my body mass index is not 25 yet. I need to do a little calculation here. Actually, I have it on my phone. So my weight, let's say today, let's just use my 198 as 6 foot and 1 inch. My BMI is 26.1, and that is actually still overweight. So I am still overweight, even though I've lost what I've lost. So I'd like to see my body mass index get down in under 25 for sure, where I'm out of that overweight category. And so my waist is now 34. I was a 38. And I had, when I was at 189 pounds before I went in for the surgery, I was actually wearing some 32s. And I think I'll get back to that point again where my waist is a 32 instead of, and honestly, I was wearing 38s before all of this, and those were starting to feel tight. So I was pushing a 40-inch waistline. So that's quite a bit different. And so I do realize, I'm a lot thinner, and I feel a lot better, certainly. And I know the DW is concerned that I don't get too thin. She doesn't want me to be too thin, but she's used to seeing me a lot heavier, and she's not used to seeing me at a more healthy weight now. So exercising, Debbie, high exercising and is not a good option for me because of the fact that I'm living with titanium plates in my neck, and it's very easy for me to cause myself undue pain. So for me, it's all about being reasonable, and I like to stay active, but I could probably get back into doing some exercise, doing some elliptical work and things like that, doing some cardio, but it's hard to find the time for that now. So for me, I'm trying to make the dietary measures count the most, and as a result, I probably, maybe when it warms up this next year, if I'm still feeling pretty good, I may start looking at finding myself an elliptical device that I can start working on doing some cardio. My breathing and my lungs function is good. My heart, I have a perfect EKG, and I have a long history of being an athlete and exercising and weightlifting and all of that. So I certainly know how to do that, and I'm certainly okay with it. I just don't want to put myself in a situation where I could end up in a lot of pain again, because if I do, then I end up suffering for sometimes weeks on end before things kind of calm down. Fishing from the boat is tenable. It is. I have to be careful when I'm on the boat. I only go in the bay, so I don't go out in deep water, number one. So we're not on water that's extremely rough, and if it is rough, I don't go out. That's why I'm looking forward to going out this Saturday, because we're supposed to only have 7-mile-an-hour winds, and it's supposed to be beautiful, and so it should be a wonderful day to be out on a boat. And of course, I have some guys coming with me to help me with the taking it off the trailer and then reloading later when we're done. So I'm careful with that. Walking, I'm on my feet all day. And I know some people tell me they're on their feet all day at work, and I try not to. I understand some people try to do the 10,000 steps and those kind of things, and I think those are fantastic. But not only am I on my feet, I'm up and down out of chairs and stools all day as well. So when I go in my exam rooms, I'm sitting and then I'm back up. So I get this up and down kind of activity. And so I'm not just sedentary during the day. I'm on my feet most of the day. So I do get that. And in the evenings, I'm out doing things too. I try not to do any lifting, because that can affect the neck and the upper part of the chest here, and I want to be real careful with that. But as far as, sometimes I'll do some little lunges and things like that to kind of keep the the thighs strong and make sure that I don't get too thin in that area. Have I ever worn a device to count my steps during the day? No, but I thought about getting one of the new Apple Watches for a while. I kind of lost a little interest in that, but I may do it again. Hardcore working out, weightlifting, is that a good idea with fasting? No, you want to cut your activity back when you're fasting. Yeah, exactly, Kathy. Your husband was, passing out. I mean, look, that doesn't make any sense. So don't do that. If you're going to fast, then fast. I mean, fasting is tough enough by itself. I'm already feeling a little bit lower in energy today, and I'll probably feel even lower energy tomorrow. So on the first day of fasting is the day that your body converts all of the glycogen, all of the stored energy in the liver gets converted into glucose for you to live on. So the first day, your body's designed for that to happen. Then on the second day is when you start breaking down fat stores. So today my body's been living off of stored fat. And then it'll be the same tomorrow. I'll be living off of, stored fat. So then on Thursday, when I begin to eat again, the first thing my body's going to do is replace the glycogen store in the liver. So that'll happen. So by fasting, if you have a history of non-alcoholic steatohepatitis or fatty liver problems, fasting can reverse that for you. If you've got cirrhosis, if the disease has progressed and you've got scarring in the liver, which we call cirrhosis, that's not reversible. But if you just have fatty liver, then your liver will break that down. Hey, Deborah, nice to see you. Hi, yeah, Kira. If I do get one, I'm going to get the 4. I went a couple, and I really wanted one. I went several times to the Apple store with the intent of buying one, but they were always sold out. And then I finally went to one store that had one, and it was great. It had everything. It had all the features I want. I want the standalone, so I can use it as a phone by itself. But unfortunately, the only one they had was pink, and it clashes with my complexion. So I chose not to buy a pink one. Let's see, Thursday. No. I won't feel bad on Thursday, Christine. I'll feel fine on Thursday. It's just an extension. So on Thursday, when I do eat a little bit, I won't really feel a lot different, but my energy will gradually increase during the day as I begin to add the calories back in. The important thing is not to eat a big meal, because that can make you feel sick. And I've made that mistake before following a large fast. I ate a large meal at lunch, and I really felt rotten for hours. So anyway, Christine, not sure what you're asking. I don't think it was a dumb question. No. I don't think it was a dumb question. I won't feel blah. I know how, and I think it's a fair question. I won't feel bad. I've done this before. I've done a 5-day fast, and I've done a 7-day fast before. And I know, coming off of all of those, how I feel, because I've been there before and I've done these. On a 3-day fast, you do have to be careful that you introduce food slowly back into your diet. You don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, you do feel a bit more energetic. What was amazing to me the first time I did a 7-day fast was how not hungry I felt. The biggest thing that you feel when you do extended fasting is you just feel fatigue. You feel tired. You don't feel as energetic. However, some people experience almost a euphoria, and I have felt this too, where your mind really feels super clear. You get this real clarity of mind. I did a 7-day fast, and I worked 5 days during it. And the only thing that I didn't feel was it felt like I had those old-fashioned ankle weights on my feet. It felt like every step just was a chore. But as far as thinking neurologically, I had no deficit, no decreased mental activity whatsoever. In fact, I actually felt very good mentally, but I just didn't seem to have the physical energy that I would normally have. So you don't really suffer that way fasting. And if you watch some other videos on people who are fasting, a lot of them will tell you that they actually feel good mentally while they're fasting. Mentally and spiritually, you feel very good. You feel very in tune. And I certainly experienced that. The only thing that I lose after day one, and day one, I feel nothing. Day one does nothing to me because, again, I've got a glucose store in my liver, and you do too. So a 1 day fast just empties your liver of those of the glucose, the glycogen. We store sugar in an easily retrievable form in our liver. And when your body is used to regular fasting, you don't get that extreme release of adrenaline that tells you you're hungry, and you don't get the shakes and the jitters and all that some people that think they have hypoglycemia. They think they have hypoglycemia because if they're late for a meal, they get this adrenaline release that tells their liver, hey, it's time to release that glycogen into sugar, because they don't do it very often, because they don't give themselves the opportunity to ever get to where they need to use that glycogen, because they're continuing to eat during the day. So on day one, I don't ever feel anything. Now, day two, your body switches over, and because you've run out of the glycogen, and you start using fat. So right now I'm living off of stored fat all over in my body. So if I were to do, say, a urine strip and test for ketones, they'd be positive right now, because when your body breaks down fat and you use that for energy, you're producing ketones, and you're living off of the ketones. So let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't, if you feel concerned about fasting because of physical performance on a job, then you shouldn't do it. What foods do I eat for protein when I'm not fasting? Well, I eat whole food, plant-based. It's kind of what we're talking mostly about, being vegan. If you're wondering, is there enough protein in fruits and vegetables? I would remind you that gorillas in the zoo only eat bananas, and they look pretty tough. A lot of muscle. They get plenty of protein. You wouldn't want to mess with one of those dudes. So I don't think it's an issue. Let's see. Pam, I wish you could talk to me on the phone. You're such a super doctor. Well, thank you. Maybe you can answer some questions. I've been having problems as far as my body, and I'm not getting any answers. Pam, feel free to email me, and I'd be happy to talk with you sometime. I have no problem with that. There you go. There's my email if you want. Let's see. Not sure to ask this correctly. Your doc tells you that you must eat breakfast because if you don't, your metabolism slows down. I think that you do go through metabolic changes when you miss meals, but if you don't eat breakfast, I think you should start your day with some kind of something you should eat. I think you should eat in the morning. Some people don't, but if you have a metabolic problem and you're not eating breakfast, then you're remaining fasting. So we fast overnight anyway. We're not eating at night. And so that's why our first meal is called breakfast, break fast. You're breaking your overnight fast. So you're fasting every night anyway. It's not a true fast, but you're not eating during that time period. So when you get up and you're ready to go for the day, it's good to get something to get started, for a little bit of energy. And for me, it's usually a piece of toast and a piece of fruit. But if you miss it, you're going to be a little bit hungrier for lunch, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a slow metabolism for the day. You'll eventually eat. If you don't eat for days, how does that affect your metabolism? It slows your metabolism down. My metabolism will slow down through this 3-day fast. I'm already noticing some slowing down. I interpret it as a kind of a physical fatigue. I don't feel mentally tired, but I do feel physically not as energetic today, and that will be a little bit worse tomorrow. But that's not it's not a big issue. So I'm not lifting crates and things like that. So it's not a problem for me. What are whole foods? Well, when we say whole food plant-based, what we're talking about are fruits and vegetables. We're talking about not unprocessed foods, real foods, apples, bananas, carrots, peppers, tomatoes, lettuce. And we're talking about whole food, plant-based here too, no animal products. So we tend to eat rice and kiwan, and we eat green beans and peas, and we eat whole foods. We eat foods that aren't already processed and are full of maltodextrin, and almonds and nuts and seeds are whole foods. So foods that haven't been all processed. There you go, Christine. Fruits, veggies, beans, and such. Yeah, Deborah, there's a great book that you can read. It's called Proteinaholic, and it's by a physician in the Houston area. Dr. Garth Davis is his name, and he is a bariatric surgeon, but he wrote a really fabulous book. It's so well written because he did a fabulous job, in my opinion, of combining science and making it easy to read and understand for a person who's not a scientist. Yes, I think you can just get it right on Amazon. I bought a copy of it. I gave mine away. I need to get another copy of it. But it's even got some recipe ideas that you can get, but it's less than $10 for the paperback, and it's probably $3 if you have Kindle. Yeah, Christine, exactly, like an apple instead of an apple fruit roll up. Exactly. Pam, I had 2 neck surgeries over the last 3 years. I had an old injury from junior high school, but I had 2 discs removed at the C4, C5, and I'm sorry, C5, C6, C6, C7 levels about 3 years ago, and that was all anchored in onto my 5th cervical vertebrae. And then the 5th vertebrae began to erode, and I started having problems at the 4-5 level. And also, all the old symptoms were coming back because there was a shifting that occurred at the lower levels. So I had to go in and have 4-5 removed, but also the 5th cervical vertebral body, I had to have it removed too. So that's why I have the lower scar from the first surgery and the higher scar, and it's a bigger scar too because she actually had to remove the bone and replace it with a plastic spacer and a large piece of titanium to anchor everything. And so it fixed the old stuff and fixed the new stuff all. So the only pain that I get now is super high up, and that is from some arthritis in the neck. And if I spend too much time on computers, it can get me. Now, doing this doesn't bother me because this isn't the same as focusing and working on a computer. So for me, this is just like carrying on a conversation with a person. So this doesn't bother me. I've had 2 neck surgeries over the last 3 years, and if I have to have a third one, that will probably end my medical career because I will no longer probably be able to do my job anymore. Would your library have the book? Maybe you might want to call them and ask. Yeah, hey Kelly. Yeah, so if you have a Kindle, I think you can get all of this stuff on Kindle for pennies. But it's nice. I like books. I don't like to read things on computers. I don't like doing that. I prefer to read a book, probably just how I was raised. Oh, thank you, Robin. That's sweet. My neurosurgeon, Dr. Rebecca Stachniak, she looked at me and she said, I think we'll get you another 10 to 12 years. That would put me at 65. If I can work until I'm 65, that would be fantastic. It really would. So, Sherry, always nice to see your smiling face. Welcome. I didn't notice if you were here earlier. So you take your medicine, Kira, and then you have to take it on an empty stomach and wait for an hour to eat. Okay, no problem. I don't know if I would want to teach. If I had, you have to understand that what happens when you do a lot of paperwork and you do a lot of work on computers and things like that, you do a lot of moving of the head up and down and arcing. And before that was causing me a lot of pain. So if I end up having to have another surgery, the ability for me to turn my head left and to the right is going to even be much more restricted than it is now. As it is now, I can't drive a small car. I have to have a big truck so I can slide forward in the seat. And actually, when I need to check my blind spots in my truck, what I do is I lean forward. I've got my hand on the wheel, and I turn my whole body like that to look. And I do the same this way to look, because otherwise I can't change lanes safely. So if I lose any more mobility in my neck, there's a good chance that I won't be able to drive either. So it would be a true disability for me at that point. I would still continue to work with the nutrition and all of this, and that's probably the direction I would go. But we'll see. You just don't know about the future, and so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to continue to practice medicine as long as I'm able, and hopefully that's for many years. And I know that probably when you get into your 60s as a physician, I know some doctors working much more than that, and you develop this body of knowledge, and you don't want to give it up. And I love what I do. I truly do. I truly enjoy it immensely. I don't know what I would do with my day, so I don't know if I would be a good teacher or not, but it's an idea. Christine, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. That's a good idea, Kira. Glad you talked to them about the Armour Thyroid. I think that's a good idea for you. Robin, you'll be 60 next year. 60's the new 40, right? My truck mirrors, they'll turn out, but it makes it difficult for parking and other things, so I don't use that. I just turn in my seat. I only have to do it a few times, usually each direction when I drive to work and back. What about the newer tech on vehicles? I'll tell you, backing up is it's a godsend for me because I've got the rear cameras on my truck, and so I can just back up carefully, and I don't have to turn to look, and so that's real helpful for me. I don't know what a Kobo e-reader is, but I presume it's some kind of electronic reader. Yes, I love the backup camera. It's wonderful. I had to get for the boat, and that's one of those situations where I just turn in the seat to back up. But my boat has the big, on the boat trailer, it has the big PVC pipes with the orange tips so that when I back the trailer in, I can see it. That's right, Debs, you're only in your 40s. And I'm only 18 now, so that may not be true. Yeah, my truck doesn't have those, but I do have, when I'm backing up, I do have sensors, and they help, although Johanna at the clinic will tell you that it wasn't too many months ago that I was backing up and my sensor didn't work, and I bumped into the hatch of her minivan. And because I drive a huge truck, I drive a 3/4 ton Dodge pickup truck with a Cummins turbo diesel engine, and it is a monster. And I bumped her vehicle, and I did not feel it. And I drove home and didn't notice anything. And a couple of days later, I noticed this little white smudge on my bumper, and that's all it was literally a smudge. And so I checked around in the clinic and discovered that I had indeed bumped into her. And it was $650 worth of damage that I got to pay for. But for some reason, I think my backup indicator or the sensor on that side, or for whatever reason, it did not warn me, and I did not feel it. So anyway, at least nobody got hurt. So yeah, it was a little whoopsie. So now I take more care that I go very, very slow when I'm backing out in the afternoons, and I've changed where I park now too to help make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, so just got to be careful. That's all. My truck. Well, look, here's the truth. The truth is I can't. I used to have a little Porsche. I used to drive really fast, and when my neck started causing me problems again, I had to get rid of it. And I had a truck as well, and I traded those both in on this big diesel pickup. It was an expensive pickup truck too. I was surprised you can buy a Porsche for less than what you can buy a large diesel pickup truck for. The Porsche was nowhere near the $85,000 that the truck cost me. My darling wife is very happy that I'm driving a very big vehicle, because there are people out there that even though you're driving a big truck, they don't look and they will hit you. And she likes the idea that I have a lot of steel around me, and I like the idea she has a large vehicle as well. And we do this on purpose because we're in a city where people drive fast and they don't always pay attention. And if you're driving down the highway these days and you look across and you see your neighbor on the road, you'll see a lot of them are not looking at the road. They're looking at their cell phones. So as a result, having that extra steel around me is going to give me protection if I do get hit. I've got the airbags all the way around and all of that, and I'm in a steel casing. So I think that with my history of neck surgery, having a serious accident would put me at risk for even more damage to my cervical spine. So made the decision to go that direction. Big trucks are very expensive. That's right. They're also safe. Yeah. And Kira's in a huge Twinkie. Well, I hope it's a good spongy Twinkie, Kira. So, well, thank you, Mary Jane. I'll do my best, I promise. Yes, very safe. A big Dodge pickup truck from a standpoint of me being safe is probably the best. I used to have a 1 ton, but those are I didn't want a 1 ton. I wanted a little bit smaller than a 1 ton. So 3/4 ton does the job. It's the HD. It's the heavy duty version. So, yeah, Houston has got a lot of road, Sherry. There's no question about it. We're going to be the largest. We're going to be the only major city in the world with 3 loops once they finish 99, and it's probably 3/4 of the way done now. But we'll actually have 3 loops around our city. And I come home I drive to work one direction, I come back a different direction, and I get on that 99 on the way back. Yeah, it's funny. I got pulled over once I was pulling a trailer, and I got pulled over by a police officer. He was actually a little bit belligerent because the trailer license plate didn't match the description of the trailer. And so we got the 3rd degree from him, and we went on, and he was talking about a lot of trailers like that are getting stolen, and he was very accusatory in his discussion, and I didn't quite understand his attitude. And then anyway, so he went back, and and after I assured him that was my trailer, he went back and he punched the numbers back in, and he came back and apologized profusely because he was driving and typing at the same time, and he had misentered the license plate number of my trailer. And my darling wife leaned over and told him he shouldn't be typing and driving at the same time. He smiled and apologized and left. So, yep, it'll happen. Bryan, Texas, right up the road, home of Texas A&M. And a lot of my family is up there too. And that's where I did my residency in family medicine. I was in Bryan, Texas. Yeah, 3 loops around Houston. We've got 610, which is a big freeway. Then they built the toll road, which is the Sam Houston Toll Road, which is Highway 8. And now 99 is going in, and they call it the Grand Parkway, and it's also toll. So, Yeah, so I'm glad. I think that there are too many people driving while texting, too many people driving while Facebooking, for crying out loud, and it makes me nervous seeing these kids on motorcycles because the people driving their vehicles aren't paying attention to the road. So anyway, guys, well, I'm going to do my paperwork now. It's been an hour. Thanks for hanging out with me. You made my evening part of this fast easier. Thanks for visiting. And so I got to pay a few bills here and get some paperwork in order. The DW should be back from their errand running here in just any time. So I'm going to get this done, and then between 8 and 10, try to get her to watch a movie with me. Did the second cyst video coming back? Are you talking about with Quail, Kelly? Because we had one cyst that video that came out today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was really wonderful cyst. But no, he has not been back. So when he comes back, we'll probably do the next one. Okay, so good night, everyone. Thanks for visiting with me. And I'll share how I'm feeling in the morning. Yeah, the onion cyst. Hope you guys like that one. I thought it was really a cool cyst. Okay, so I'm going to say good night and get a little work done, and then get inside and get ready for going to sleep with no food. All right. Hey, Sherry, you can always watch it from the beginning if you want to. It'll be there. All right. Good night, and I'll see you guys in the morning. I will update you on how I'm feeling and how I'm doing in the morning. And I appreciate your love and your support for me today. It's much appreciated. It's good to feel like I've got a family, an online family. It'll probably be somewhere around 8 o'clock. Usually I like to get into the clinic around 7:45. The DW won't be coming with me tomorrow because it's a short day. She usually, I'm not usually able to make it. I'll just say I'm usually not able to make it at 7:45 when she comes with me. She takes a little bit longer. And but tomorrow morning, probably around 7:45 or 7:45 to 8, somewhere in there, I'll try to leave a little message and let you know how I'm feeling, and update you guys tomorrow as I complete the 3-day fast. So if you're curious how I'm feeling and you want to ask questions about how I'm feeling physically, mentally, and all of those things, I will be at your service for that. So have a great night. Love you all. And thanks for the support. And you guys all have a wonderful night too. Stay warm if you're in a cold place. And talk to you tomorrow. Good night.